The LGBT movement is right that marriage should be the top priority, but that doesn't mean we should assimilate. My opponent agreed that heteronormativity is the reason why queers are oppressed and not safe in the first place. This means you should evaluate the debate as to which strategy best disrupts heteronormativity, one that assimilates or one that ushers in a new moral orders through manifest faggotry. Marriage must come first because it is the very thing heteronormativity drives us towards. Boys learn masculinity and to desire women so they can be good grooms, and girls are supposed to fantasize constantly about their wedding. My Edelman evidence indicates the heterosexual married couple is necessary to protect the child, which is a symbol representing our future. If same-sex couples could get married, there would be more visibility of queers, and children would have to learn about our lifestyles. Queers are bashed and denied rights because they are framed as a threat to the child and thus the future. There would be no need for anti-bullying legislation because bullying only happens because queerness is deemed immoral. Let me make something very clear here, though. The only one promoting assimilation is my opponent. Liberal methods of inclusion are just as bad as conservative methods. Although she tries to initially reject a traditional approach to queer politics, she upholds it through calls for legitimizing families, positive representation, and making queers whole, worthwhile human beings. Her logic is inclusion through exclusion, shifting negative queerness to other identities. In order to have a legitimate identity, you must have an illegitimate one in opposition. In order to have a good queer represented, there must be a bad queer. And in order to have a human, there must be an inhuman other. Her arguments about the transgendered and others not being represented proves this, that the current movement creates divisions which has prioritized good gay men over the more queer identities. She has replicated the structural logic leading to exclusion of the sluts, the dykes, trannies, fags, sex workers, and other deviants. Affirming manifest faggotry is the best solution. She hasn't heard it before because it's a concept I've developed and it was explained in the first 20 seconds of my first speech as well as in the conclusion. I am calling for a militarized strategy against heteronormativity by identifying with conservative fears. We are going to teach our children about our lifestyles, and if we want, raise children ourselves. My Schotten evidence says the dominant moral framework demands queerness be eliminated, so instead of deflecting our monstrosity, we should revel in it. The only way we can violently exclude queerness is if it's something to negate rather than affirm. Total assimilation is impossible, and trying to be just like straighty legitimizes the dominant moral order. Her arguments about the word faggot being controversial is a way of telling me that I should affirm an identity that is more in line with the moral order that oppresses queers and that I'm trying to wage war against in the first place. Every time she uses the word queer, though, she's indicating that we can reclaim language in revolutionary ways. There's no reason why this can't be extended to fag as well. I'm reclaiming the term as something for radically queer politics. It's unique because it's one of the most common slurs against the LGBT identities, including bisexuals and transgendered men. Other identities don't have to identify as faggots, but can radically manifest themselves through other terms that society uses, such as dyke or tranny, or even queerness. All these methods can still prioritize same-sex marriage as a way of externally rupturing the moral order that maintains our oppression, which is why same-sex marriage must be the top priority of the LGBT movement.